We already did P. The way they worded the problem was they wanted us to determine if there's evidence of a difference in the proportion. They didn't state that one is higher than the other. So our HO is going to be equal. Our HA is going to be not equal to. It's up to you whether you decide to do P hat or P1 minus P2, or if you want to just put the symbol in between. I don't care which you do. The one on the right, this one takes a little bit less writing, but some people like this idea as well because it matches the panic a little bit. The name here would be we are completing a two-proportion z-test to crunch out numbers. There's my formula with letters. To get my formula with numbers, I am going to actually run my test. So I am now doing a 2-prop z-test. The good news is if you already ran the interval, the number's already popped in there. The only thing I need to do besides putting in the x and the n for each fraction is make sure my symbol is correct. And I do want not equal to here. So I'll crunch things out, and there I have my p hat 1, my p hat 2. This p hat here is the p hat combined, so you don't need to manually calculate that. And then we have our z and our p. So when we go to write our formula of numbers here, this is actually the one we're going to use along with the n's. And then, of course, we want our z and our p as well. So here's how the rest of this would go. There's my formula with numbers. There's that 0.306 I just mentioned. It's 0.305555 here, but I rounded to 0.306. And then I need to actually give the z. The z in this case is negative 1.59. The p-value also comes from the calculator. And just remember that the calculator automatically does any dividing by or multiplying by 2 for two-tailed. So this would be a two-tailed test. If you're using the chart, you'd have to worry about that. When I run it on the calculator, I don't need to worry about it. My p-value is just 0.113. Calculator took care of everything already. Did they give us an alpha here? My alpha in this problem was no. So you can choose what alpha you use as long as you stick to 1%, 5%, or 10%, and you state it in your conclusion. So here I said, since my p-value of 0.113 is larger than alpha equals 0.10. I put larger than even as the kind of way to emphasize, like, listen, this is bigger than any of the alphas we use. Alpha equals 10% is the largest. You don't have to do that. You can just pick one and just say it's larger than alpha equals 0.05. I've already talked to a few of you and just say, if you want to always use 0.05, that's fine. But in this case, my p-value is larger than alpha. That means I'll fail to reject the null hypothesis. This means there is no evidence that the true proportion of female students at this high school who support the proposal to have an open campus lunch instead of EDU's first and seventh hour is different than the true proportion of male students at this high school who support the proposal. So there is no evidence of a difference in opinion. And yes, this is wordy. You can trim that down a little bit as long as you keep enough of that context there. All right, that'll do it for this and for 10.1.